Hired here, paper 7. Question number 1. Write down the price of the new car. So at 0 years old, the car is 6,400. Write down the price of the oldest car. Well, the oldest car is 4 years old, and that is worth £2,000. Draw by eye a line of best fit. So we need a line that goes through as many of the points as possible, roughly splitting them half above and half below if possible. Write down the type of correlation shown by the scatter graph. Negative, because the points are sloping in this direction. Estimate the price of a 2.5-year-old car. So 2.5 years would be here. So we would draw up to the line of best fit, and then we would draw across, and we read off that that would be £3,500. If your line of best fit is slightly different, your answer will be slightly different. Question number 2. Translate the rectangle 6 units to the right and 3 units up. So every point has to move 6 to the right and 3 up. So this corner is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. So that's going to be the new corner there. And then we can just draw the shape from that. So we know that the rectangle is 3 units across, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares tall. So the new rectangle will be by here. Translate just means move, and the directions are given to you pretty straightforward in terms of right and up. Draw a reflection of the triangle in the line y equals 6. Well, the line y equals 6 is here, so we need to reflect the triangle from there. So currently I have to go 2 squares down to get to that line, so I'm going to go another 2 for that corner there. This corner is a similar process, 2 down and then 2 down. This one here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at the moment, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the other direction, and then as you can see the triangle is visible from the points, and then when we join it up we will have the finished question. So that triangle has been reflected in the line y equals 6. Draw a travel graph to show Alid's journey. So Alid's leaving at 8 o'clock. At 8:15 he's going to arrive at his friend's house. 8:15 is here, and his friend lives 2.5 miles away. So this is 8:15. 2 miles, that will be 3 miles. So in between, that's 2.5 miles. So the first 15 minutes of his journey, he travels pretty quickly, 2.5 miles, and then stops at his friend's house. So that's that section of the journey there. At 8:36 he leaves his friend's house. So very quickly after being at his friend's house they're going to leave. However, so we have to show at that point a straight line because they're not travelling anywhere during that time. So this is 8:30, and then we've got half hour for 10 squares. So each square is worth a minute. So 2 minutes past 8:30 they're going to leave. So for those period of time there, he hasn't travelled a distance anywhere from his house because they have remained at his friend's house. At 9 o'clock he's going to arrive at the gym. The gym is a further 3 miles away, so that means they'll have travelled a total of 5. So at 5 miles, 5.5 miles, sorry, he will have travelled, and after 5.5 miles he is at the gym. So again, that'll be a straight line between there and there. They leave the gym at 11 o'clock. Well, during the time that they're at the gym, he's obviously no further away from his own house, so they're staying there the whole time. And then at 11:30 he arrives home. There's no information about him stopping on the way home, it's just a direct route home, which is shown as follows. Calculate his average speed for the journey home. Well, his journey home, he has travelled 5.5 miles and it's taken him 30 minutes. So using the formula speed equals distance divided by time, we can say that this is 5.5 divided by, now instead of saying 30 minutes, I'm going to say that's divided by half an hour. And you need to know that if you divide something by half, that's the equivalent of timesing it by 2. So that will be 11 miles per hour. Question number 4. Solving equations. So I'm going to collect the x terms on the left hand side, and I'm going to collect the numbers on the right hand side. So I get 6x minus 2x is equal to 21 plus 7. So 4x is equal to 28. So x will be equal to 28 divided by 4, which is 7. Factorise, look for anything common. There's only the number 3 common in both terms, so we'll have a 3 outside the bracket. I'm going to have to times that by 8x to get the 24x, and I'm going to have to times it by 1 to get the 3. Another factorising one, I have an x this time that's common, no numbers. I have to times x by x to get x squared, and I'm going to times it by minus 6 to get minus 6x. Expanding, so the opposite factorising, 2x times x cubed is 2x to the power of 4, and then it's going to be plus 12x. Solve this equation. I need to get x on its own. The first thing I'm going to do is move the plus 15 away. So I get x divided by 3 equals 25 minus 15. So x divided by 3 equals 10. So x will be, take the 3 up, 10 times 3, so x will equal 30. Question number 5. A community hall has a large number of rectangle tables and a large number of chairs. The tables can seat up to 3 people on each of the longer sides and 1 person at each end. There are 164 people. Tables meet edge to edge. What is the least number of tables needed? A street bike has been over. So there is one straight line. So we have this table here can have 3 people there, 3 people there, and 1 on the end. The next table can only have 3 there and 3 there because the ends will be taken out. The next person again 3 and 3, and then when we get to the other end we can have 3, 3 and 1 on the end. So whichever way we look at it, we will have 2 tables with 7 people on. That accounts for 14 people. So we are now down to 150 people left because we've covered 14 on either end, and we need to say how many 6s go into 150 because every table in the middle can only sit 6 people. So 6 doesn't go into 1, 6 into 15 is 2 with 3 left over, and 6 into 30 is 5. So we needed 2 tables on either end and 25 tables in the middle, so the least number of tables will be 27. There are n people sitting around a straight line of tables. There are no empty seats. Write an expression in terms of n for the least number of tables to seat these people. So again, we're going to use the same principle here, but we don't know how many people there are altogether. So I'm going to follow the same system I used at the top. We know that the n tables can seat 7 people, and then the middle tables are only for 6. So if there are n people, I am going to start off by saying that I need n minus 14 people, and then I also, after that, need to divide that number by 6 to work out how many tables there are, because n stands for the number of people. So I take away the 14 from either end and I divide what's left by the 6 to work out how many tables there will be needed altogether. Question 6. Roz and Simon each throw a fair dice. Calculate the probability that the sum of the 2 numbers obtained is 4. How many options have I got for getting a 4? First person can throw 1 and the other guy a 3. They both throw a 2 is the only option of that happening, or a 3 and a 1. So there are only 3 outcomes in which they can both score 4 between them, and when you roll 2 dice, because there are 6 numbers on each, the total combination is 36. So that is 3 out of 36, which will simplify to 1 over 12. 7 single digit numbers even have a median of 6 and a range of 8. The mode of the numbers is 3. Find the 7 numbers. Well, the median is 6, and the middle number has to be 6. To have a mode of 3, there has to be at least 2 3s. Now, to make a range of 8 using single digit numbers, the only way I can do that is if I have a 9 and a 1, and then these 2 numbers here must be 7 and 8. They can't both be 7s, they can't both be 8s, because obviously we need to keep the mode as 3. Estimate the value. So, round each number, it's about 50 times 20 divided about 200. So 5 times 2 is 10, plus the 2 zeros is 1000, divided by 200. We can cancel 2 lots of zeros off and we're left with 10 divided by 2, which is 5. Given that 46 times 345 equals 15,870, find the value of. Again, use an estimate here. This is about 1600 and this is about 400. How many 400s go into 1600? Well, 4. So we know the answer has to be roughly about 4, and the digits involved must be 3, 4 and 5. So that leads me to believe the answer will be 3.45. Write down the value of a half of 3 over 8. So that means a half times by 3 over 8. So if we are timesing, we just multiply the top numbers and the bottom numbers, so this gives me 3 over 16. Express 240 as a product of fives using index notation, so 240, 2 times 120, and we're just going to keep repeating this process until we get to no numbers left which can be divided. So 2 and 15, 15 then is made of 3 and 5, and then we are done. So we have 2 to the power of 4 times by 3 times by 5. Evaluate the reciprocal of 0.9 and state whether it is greater or less than 0.9. So the reciprocal means 1 divided by 0.9. Now we can't have 1 divided by 0.9, so that's the same as if we times top and bottom by 10, we get 10 over 9, and 10 over 9 is 1 whole 1 and 1/9 left, and that is definitely greater than 0.9. Expand and simplify, so we're going to use FOIL. So first will give us 6x squared, outside will give us minus 8x, inside will give us plus 15x, and last will give us minus 20. Tidy these terms up, 6x squared minus 8 plus 15 will leave us with plus 7x and minus 20 on the end. Factorise and hence solve, so we need to look for numbers that add and multiply. They need to add to make 1, and in this case they need to multiply to make minus 6. 2 and 3 are going to be our numbers, and we're going to have a minus 2 to end up on plus 3. We're going to split the x term, so we have 2x squared minus 2x plus 3x minus 3, and then we're going to factorise this bit and this bit independently, so we will have 2x and x minus 1 from this bracket. The plus sign stays where it is. Common in here we have a 3, and we will have a x minus 1 there, because the plus 3 times the minus will make the minus there. So our two brackets are the x minus 1 we've got, and everything that's left over, 2x plus 3. Solve it when it's equal to 0, so we say either the x minus 1 equals 0 and therefore x equals 1, or we say that 2x plus 3 equals 0, which leaves us with 2x equal to minus 3 and x equal to minus 3 over 2. Simplified, because we have the same bracket on the top and bottom, we can just simply take that bracket and do the subtraction of powers, which gives us x plus 5 to the power of 6. Right, find the nth term of a sequence. We need to look at the link, so it's plus 3, plus 5, plus 7, plus 9. Because this is different, we need to look at the second difference, which we find is plus 2 each time. That means that there has to be n squared involved in this particular nth term. And the reason it is just 1 n squared is because whatever the second difference is, we halve and put in front. Then we look at how do I get from the first term, where n squared would be 1 to 5, well, I add 4, and that is the end of the nth term.